This trip has basically been about me butchering the pronunciation of all of the place names. A tunnel with a kind of castle frontage. Well, good morning everyone. This is day 6 of our tour from Caen to Bilbao. I'm riding my BMW R1250RT. My dad is behind me on his Honda CB1100. And we are just leaving our accommodation for the evening. And we've been staying at the Cross Hotel at this place just outside of Pamplona. They call it the City of Transport, or Ciudad del Transporte, and I'm guessing that is meaning City of Transport. I don't know what else it could mean. Pretty grim place actually. I was a little bit scathing in my comments when I got into the room last night because my room smelled of smoke. I was pretty unhappy about that. I guess I should have just asked them to change the room, but the lady didn't speak any English and my Spanish is hopeless. So yeah, I just put up with it, opened the window and tried to get on with life. But actually my dad's room was fine, and so you shouldn't take that as a representation of the entire hotel. And we're just going to try and get some fuel, but this place looks like it might be trucks only, so it looks like it's shut a bit as well. Yeah, there is another petrol station. I don't actually think it's quite as easy to get to as it might appear. In fact, I don't think we can get in there at all because I think that's part of the service station. Can't get in. Oh, I'm all over the place this morning. Not doing a very good job of this introduction. I was saying about the hotel anyway, it was clean, despite the smell of smoke. It was clean and had everything needed, I guess. A bed and a warm shower. There's nothing else in the hotel, no food or anything like that, so the hotel cost was €50 for the night, which is of course very cheap, and you get what you pay for, as always. There was a nice sort of transport cafe, large transport cafe that serves the truckers and all the rest of it. And we went in there and had a very nice escalope with egg and chips, and I think that was, including a couple of beers, 11 euros each. So a decent meal. It was a decent sized meal and it tasted good, just what we needed actually at the end of the day. And a couple of small beers for 11 euros. So all in, total cost of accommodation comes to, if my math is correct, 61 euros. But we haven't had any breakfast, so first order of the day will be to find breakfast. And our trip today is going to take us from Pamplona to Las Salas, which is a very small place. I guess the biggest place that's near to it is Riaño. And there's a really beautiful dam that we're going to ride over just before we get to our accommodation. And it is a place that we've been to before. So I know that we're going to be climbing up in the mountains. It's going to be good. The first part of our trip though is going to be on the motorways. I think it's about 2 hours of motorway riding just to get ourselves over towards the mountain range over there. The Cantabrian Mountains, I believe that's what they're called. And the specific part where we're going is the Picos de Europa. So I'm not going to roll camera for motorway travelling. Nobody needs to see that. I will start the cameras up once we're a little bit further along in our trip. We've got something more to talk about. So for me that's going to take a couple hours. For you it's going to be instant. See you in a moment. Well, we just got off the motorway. It's been absolutely crazy on there. So many trucks and idiot drivers. Very difficult. Anyway, we found this little rest stop with an interesting monument to some chap from the 17th century. Some sort of lion or big dog. There's a little shrine or something up there as well. It doesn't look like it's been used. I was kind of hoping that there'd be some facilities here, but there really isn't anything apart from a camping site that's closed. And perhaps this was the facilities here. This derelict building. I suspect the new motorway has killed it off. I've seen a few places along the way where you've got that kind of building, you know, hotels and things like that that are obviously shut. They've all been graffitied, and don't really understand these people who are just writing their names everywhere. Somebody is using the name Anus. I mean, I'm guessing that means something else in Spanish, but imagine feeling the need to go and write the word anus in 12-foot letters everywhere. Anyway, enough of that. We're going to take the N1 now, which is the old road. We're headed towards Burgos, and from there we take, I think it's the N627, but starts taking us into the mountains. So that'll be a much more interesting road. But I'm just looking forward to getting off the motorway and going on at a bit of a slower pace for a while. All of the trucks and the motorway traffic will be heading on the new motorway, the Autopista del Norte, AP1. Yeah, as you can see, there's not a lot on this road, and we've got some nice scenery to look at as well. Pretty great. I wanted to tell you about another feature of the bike, the BMW R1250RT. This is something I've been doing through the tour, just to let you know what I think about the bike, because it's relatively new to me. I bought it in December. This is the first real shakedown. I'm getting to know the bike real well. Done over 1,000 miles on this trip on it. But I wanted to talk about cruise control, and I have spoken about cruise control on the trip already and where it could be really useful, but I just wanted to show you specifically how the system works on the BMW. I did have cruise control on my Moto Guzzi V85 TT, and I had it previously on my BMW R1250RT that I had. Look at this lovely little bit of scenery. Let me just pause a moment. You can take that in. So you can see the controls for the cruise on the left hand bar there, and I think BMW have absolutely aced this system. It works really well. It's easy to control. And if you've ever wondered what cruise control on a bike would be like, well, let me show you. So first of all, the BMW control has this button here which you push to set your speed, and once you've pushed it, you can then push it again to increase speed and pull it towards you to decrease speed. I've chosen the worst possible time to start talking about this. Look at this, a tunnel with a kind of castle frontage. That's awesome. It's really nice when they take the time to do stuff like that, just to make it a bit more interesting for those travelling. I'm just going to pause for a moment whilst we go through this town and make sure I don't get lost. It's a bit difficult to demonstrate cruise control as well when you've got to slow down like this. Here's actually a good example. Let's do it. So we're saying 50 speed control by radar. So let's to access the cruise control, we push this button over to the right. That then frees up this control so I can set it. We're going too fast, so I'm just going to slow it down by pulling it towards me. Take my time to make sure I know where we're going. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm speeding up. The cruise control is still on and it's still set at 50. Now the speed is 80, so at any time you could just use the throttle to go a bit faster. I'm going to set it again at 80. Just slightly ahead of that. Let me pull it back. So I just set the speed that I'm comfortable at, and the bike will just hold it there. It's just really easy to use. Now, if I want to switch off the cruise control, I've got a whole bunch of options available to me. I can just pull the clutch lever, that will disengage it. Either of the brakes, so use the front brake or the back brake, the foot pedal, that will disengage it. But also on the throttle here, if I turn it and push it away from me, that will also disengage the cruise control. Just let these other bikers get past and I'll demonstrate that. So if I just take my throttle hand and I'll just push it forwards, and you can see the cruise control is now disengaged. So I can either press set again, which will set it at my current speed, or I could just pull the lever towards me and that will resume the previous speed. And as you can see, the bike is speeding up. Okay, and if I just set the speed higher, because we're now on a 90 road, you can see I don't have to have my hand on the bars at all. Nice and easy. Another way, of course, to switch off the cruise control is simply to slide this switch back, just like that. So there's loads and loads of ways to turn it off. So if you're in a panic, of course, one of the first things you've got to do is, you know, let off the throttle or pull the brake or the clutch or anything like that. So that's going to switch the cruise control off. So it's a really easy system to use. It's not dangerous in any way. I think BMW have absolutely nailed it, and I love this idea that when you have this switch move back to the off position, you can't operate the cruise control, so you can't hit it by accident. You're going to accidentally hit cruise and get into a problem that way. And it's not overly sensitive either. I found on the Moto Guzzi system, which was typically wonky and Italian in the way that it was used, wasn't quite so obviously user-friendly, but it was also very sensitive. It had the same mechanism on the throttle, but it was way too sensitive. So you'd be you know, riding along with the cruise on, and what I like to do is then just rest my hand on the bar end like this. But if you just were ever to slightly nudge the throttle, it would knock off the cruise control, and you know, all of a sudden then you're lurching forwards as the engine braking comes in. So it's a great tool. It's a great thing to have on your bike for roads like this. I almost never use cruise control in the UK apart from when I'm going through an average speed section, because there's so much more traffic on the roads in the UK and it's much less predictable, I find, than in Europe. So in Spain and France, where you're travelling huge distances, cruise control, absolutely brilliant. BMW, best system I've used, but I've only used systems by 2 manufacturers, so don't read too much into that. Do you have a bike from another manufacturer with cruise control? How does it compare to the BMW system? Let me know in the comments. Be interested to hear, particularly I'd like to know what the Honda system is like, if anyone's got that on their bike. Anyway, that's enough about cruise control. We're going to make our way now to Burgos and get on that nicer road, and I'll bring you some of the footage from there. Well, that's another tank full of fuel obtained and a stomach full of delicious food. A nice little roadside restaurant there, attached to the Repsol service station. Now in Spain they do something called Menú del Dia, and I'm sure that this is, and forgive me if I've already spoken about this on the trip, but I'm sure this is a government mandated thing where you get a 2-course or a 3-course meal for a set price. And the set price is €12.50 in that place. So that was a starter, a main, a dessert, some wine. I didn't drink any wine. And water. We also added coffee, obviously. Why wouldn't you? Lovely. Very reasonable lunch. And so I had some deviled eggs. It was filled with some sort of fish mayonnaise. It was very nice. And a steak, a very thin, what you would call it, a thin steak, pan fried in butter with garlic, with a few chips, ice cream to finish. Yeah, I like travelling in Spain. It's good. And most of the restaurants you find will be offering something like that. This menu del dia business. It's good. And the lady was very kind to me because my Spanish is flipping hopeless. Things are starting to come back to me as we're in Spain, but my wife does a great job of speaking Spanish and I'm useless, and I've been lazy in the last few years relying on her. Now I'm paying the price for it. It's embarrassing. I need to try harder next time. Anyway, we are on our way now to a place called Aguilar de Campo, which I will have pronounced wrong, I'm sure. This trip has basically been about me butchering the pronunciation of all of the place names in France and Spain. But anyway, from that town, we work our way, and you can see it on the sign there, it's 24 kilometers, and then we work our way through the town, and then I think the good roads start from that point. There's a lake that we go around the top of, and then we're going to start to climb up into the mountains, I should think. And the mountains have become visible in the distance, but you can't see them at the moment. But perhaps when we get around this corner, you'll catch a glimpse. And the heart soars. It's been nice though, I have to say, it's been nice doing these long distances on the motorway. The sun's out, it's relaxing, you don't have to concentrate too much, provided there isn't traffic in front of you, of course. And there hasn't been. Most of the way it's been just really easy motoring, really relaxing, and I've felt myself just calming down, which is nice. Just feeling the stress leaving me. It's good. It's what motorcycling's all about. I found it a little bit stressful last night. I got myself a little bit worked up over the accommodation, and I shouldn't have done it, because really we got good value for our money. I think it's the problem was we'd stayed in such a beautiful place the night before. It was such a massive come down to go to this ugly grey hotel with a room smelling of smoke. And I don't have anything against smokers, by the way. I completely respect your right to smoke and I've no issue with that at all. I just appreciate it when smokers respect my right to enjoy my hotel room without smelling their stinking smoke. But there we go. That place, the Ciudad del Transporte, which I think is actually probably logistics city, isn't it, rather than transport city, like I said earlier. There's a lot of transient workers there as well. I'm guessing they're people who are working on the new motorway. But I did notice in the car park number plates from lots of different places. Quite a lot of Romanian number plates, Bulgarian and Spanish. Yeah, so quite a wide variety of people, and they must be working really hard. I imagine some of them are away from their families as well, staying in a little hotel like that. That must be hard going. But sometimes these cost-effective places get things right that larger, more expensive places don't. Like, for example, the simple vending machines. Vending machines are great because if the bar's shut, it's late, and you need a drink or something, you've got a vending machine to go to. It's just a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. So you can go and get yourself a bottle of water. That was €1. I got a couple of cans of beer out of the fridge. They were €1.50 each. This is trying to take me on the motorway. I don't want to go on the motorway. I'm gonna go this way and hope that it's okay. I mean, how did people get to Aguilar before? Yeah, there you go, look, it's on the sign. Coming across this quite a lot actually in Spain, and you get to a point, and this is how I lost Dad yesterday, because you get to a point where it stops signposting the town you're going to on the old road, because it wants you to go on the motorway, and I don't want to do that. I just want to relax. It's only 20 kilometers, and then we'll be getting into some more interesting roads. I think as the crow flies, we're only probably about 100 kilometers from our destination, but of course we won't be going as the crow flies. We'll be taking the twisty roads, so I think it's probably going to take us more like 2.5 hours to get and I'm expecting to see some great scenery. And you may just be able to make out in the distance there. I can see it quite clearly. I don't know how the camera will pick it up, but you've got the mountain range over in front of us there. Quite significant peaks actually. Yeah, it's getting excited. Mountains. It's where I want to be. I just love it. Mountains and trees, rivers and lakes. I'm very happy in those kind of locations. I've noticed we've been through a few of these little Spanish towns along the way. It's not been a hugely interesting journey really, not interesting enough to run the cameras all day. But a lot of these places seem to have died. And I'm sure it's the motorways that are doing it, taking traffic away. Little businesses just aren't getting the throughput anymore. And when the businesses die, people leave, don't they? Go somewhere else. It's a real shame. How do you deal with it? Because you need the fast motorways, you need that infrastructure. At the same time, it's killing off the small communities. Or so it would seem. Anyway, I'm going to bash on this road down to Aguilar de Campo. Once we get to the other side of it on the nicer road, I'll flip on the camera and catch up with you there, where hopefully scenery is going to start getting a bit more interesting, as will the riding. Well, the mountains are definitely getting closer. I suppose it's more accurate to say I'm getting closer to the mountains, but you know what I mean. And there's definitely snow up there as well on the biggest peaks. You can even see smatterings of snow on the mountains over to the right hand side. Just 3 kilometers now to this town of Aguilar. Typically Spanish countryside. Quite dry, although there's a lot more greenery there up in the north than you find in the south. Now I'm particularly hoping that we're about to get some refreshing cooler air, because it's 26 degrees at the moment. I'm pretty warm. It's the 3rd of May today. Weather has been good. Okay, let's see if we can navigate this town. Looks like there's a large amount of industry here. Look at that enormous green building. I wonder what that's for. And as we've been doing the tour, I've not been shaving. I'm starting to get more of a beard, and my helmet strap just caught in it, pulled the hair out. That's not a winner, is it? I do like a beard though. Nothing like a bit of a vacation beard to take home. Nice surprise for my wife. Let's figure out what we're doing here. I can see those mountains getting ever clearer. I'm getting more and more excited as we get closer. It's ups and downs, motorcycle touring, no pun intended, but you come out of the mountains and you feel down. You get back in the mountains and your spirits soar. Well, I do anyway. I mean, you guys might like a long straight road in the middle of nowhere with nothing to look at, but for me, it's all about them mountain roads. We've got a free day tomorrow. I haven't planned any routes. I suspect we'll head west, see a bit more of the mountains. Probably have an easy day. Might be able to get some time to get the drone up and do some other camera work, so might be able to bring you some more interesting footage from that. So that'll be Thursday tomorrow, and then on Friday we've got about 4 hours of riding, I think, and I have picked the windiest roads I can possibly find. And then we've got some accommodation. It's only an hour and a half from Bilbao, so we're approaching the conclusion. And I have to say, I'm picking up the bug for just going places. I can totally understand why people go off and travel the world on motorcycle, just going from one place to the next. There's something I don't know how to describe it, but it's just, I love it. I love just moving through the countryside rather than staying in a single place. It's a bit like a buffet meal, you know, where you can just have a little bit of everything you like and then you move on, as opposed to sitting down for a 3-course dinner. Is that a good analogy? Just keep moving through the countryside. Okay, here we are in the thriving metropolis of Aguilar. Sat-nav is taking me the right way. So trying to find the road CL626, but I can see it on the sat-nav. In fact, we're on it. This is it. Got an old fort or something up there on the hill. Very interesting. Most of my time in Spain has been in southern Spain. I used to have an office down there with my former business. So that was in Benalmádena, down near Malaga. So I'm quite familiar with that part of the coastline. I've done a bit of work a bit further up as well. We're on the east coast of Spain and then down towards Gibraltar. Very familiar with all of that. Northern Spain, not so much. It's only the ride we did 5 years ago and now. But it is different. Should have stopped there for that crossing. Oops. You've got to be careful when you're doing these kind of rides, because you're out on these big wide open roads with nothing around you for such a long time, and then suddenly you come into a place with loads of activity, loads of traffic, pedestrians, and you've got to wake yourself up, pay attention. And I'm not doing a very good job of that. Looks like there's some sort of college here, some youngsters. I'm guessing they're going off to college or school or something. It is really warm. The sun reflects off of these rocks. I think they warm up and then they reflect the heat. And that looks like a dam over there. Got that look about it. Alright, that's the next place we're heading to, Cervera de Pisuerga. Another place, another name butchered. My dodgy Spanish pronunciation. Alright, let's see what this road is about. So we'll leave it there for part 1. Hopefully you can join me again in part 2, and please subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. Very grateful for all of your support. See you again next time, CG Rides.